Hi, everyone. We are three Black Pratt grads, and today we are going to be talking about what is our most pleasurable photographic career surprise. Now, we've all been pretty much either in the photo business or studying photography or working independently on photography for many, many decades, each of us. And my good friends, Kenneth Nelson, and my good friend, Greg Cleghorn, and myself, Mark Skinner, we will be all talking about what we have what's been a big surprise for us as we've gone through our years. And
I'm gonna throw one of those things that you've put out there randomly. You're like, oh, Mark Skinner Ken. Oh, I've never heard of you. How long have you been sure? I've never heard of you.
well, it's been some
Just
time.
to sorry, but go ahead. Moving right along.
Well, you want to do the reintroductions, right? At some point, so we'll
Go
do
ahead. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're
for
gonna do
those
that. Once I get to my new digs, we'll do the reintroduction so we
for,
can
for
tell
the
folks who we are.
that'd be for the few people who haven't seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, right? So anyway, in this episode, we're going to talk about our photographic surprises, things that were really pleasurable. We didn't really plan for them to happen, but there were jobs that we got or experiences that we had photographically that we thought, wow, this is really kind of cool. So I am going to go first. Uh,
Wait,
and
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can continue. I just got to notice that Layla Ali is starting a live video, so I might need to cut away. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to go first. One of the things, and see if I can get this right. Let's see. All right. Now you guys should be seeing my screen, correct?
We're seeing
We're
no, we're
sitting.
seeing your screen, but it's showing all three of us.
All right. Now you're seeing my screen with the photograph.
Hey, what a dashing young
Right.
fellow!
All right. Now, but do you see the photograph?
No, Mark.
No.
No, remind. Hey, Kenny. Note to self or note to group.
Oh
Don't let Mark
no.
technical direct.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try this again. All right. So we're going to try
Let's
one more
not.
time.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, it doesn't seem like you have the option to do
You
it.
see it
There you
now?
go.
There
Yes.
you go. All right. Sorry about that.
Ah,
All right, here we go. Well, this is usually Kenneth's bailiwick, but today I'm doing it. One of the most pleasurable photographic surprises I have had in my career has been photographing high school sports. It was so pleasurable that I had two one-person shows of images from that experience. I did that for about 8 seasons in New Jersey, and it was just really wonderful being able to photograph the kids and the sort of the little atmospheric things that go
kids.
with their.
Wait,
Uh,
how old were they? High
they were high
school?
school kids. No, they were high school kids,
That's
and
young men. I mean kids.
well, young men and women. Okay, young people. That's fine. My point is that they were young people, and it was really just wonderful whether they were great at what they did or whether they were not as so great. The enthusiasm was a pleasant surprise. And Greg, I'm not really a sports person, but I really enjoyed it. Anyway,
I was about to say.
all right, and I really enjoyed, because for me it was about the experience these kids were having, just you know after school having a great time, right? So this is one image of a coach's clipboard, and you can kind of tell that there's one player who's very close up. But I wanted to kind of get a sense of, from their perspective, what it
I
would.
don't know. That looks like a slam dunking to me. That doesn't look like a clipboard.
Well, and then here's another photograph that I did. This was during another basketball game. This is for boys basketball. And what really was cool about this is I had set up strobes, but you just get a sense of how much fun and enjoyment they were having. I'm pretty sure this gentleman made the shot, so don't feel bad. But you just you capture their memories for them. And I don't remember how many years
Yeah.
this was, but they have these memories, and it's just really great. And I did swimming also, and it's just really nice to just really see. This was during practice. This wasn't at a meet, but they were warming up. And then one more, if I can find it. I think
She's
that's it.
flying.
Yeah, right. So that's
And
really
that last one, that guy's in a good position for a block. He might have got a piece of that one.
all
Or a
right.
foul. Or both.
We are no longer sharing screens, correct?
Right. Yeah,
All
we're
right,
back to regular.
there you go. But I took the burden off Ken for that one. Okay, you're gonna have to do the rest, I think. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was really it for me. And I think who is next? The next person was
Greg.
Greg. Right. So Greg,
This
what?
guy over here.
So what has been your most pleasurable photographic surprise?
I wish I could show it, but I'm in the process of compiling and organizing my photographs, so they're all under construction right now. But my most pleasurable photographic uh, event was well, actually, it was when I was in the Navy doing photojournalism, and I got stationed in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and I had to. Uh, well, actually, I was like a project manager for the Arizona commemoration, where they bring all the surviving veterans back to the Arizona Memorial, and they fed them, and they do a elaborate ceremony. Media from all over the world come in, but meeting these old sailors, senior sailors, call them what you like, but seeing them and just sitting down and hearing their stories. I met this guy named August Van Gampeleri. I'll never forget him. He was telling me about how he was on the Arizona when he was hit, and how he didn't know how he got back topside because he was in berthing. So that's like 2 decks below. He had to, crawl his way up because the ship was listing, and he got above decks and got over the side. Excuse me, he was not on the Arizona. He was on the, I believe, the Wisconsin, another battleship in the row. I'd have to check it. I'll confirm it later. But he said he got to the top side, got into the water, and he wasn't a really good swimmer. Most sailors aren't. Sorry to break that to you. I said if a sailor gets in the water, they're having a bad day. So and he made it. He was about to drown, but one of the rescue boats came and swooped him up, and he was telling about all his friends that he had lost, and just to hear this guy's firsthand account of something that we only read about in history books was just wow. I took some really cool shots of him at the memorial. He was putting flowers, and he was very emotional. Some of the younger sailors and commander was helping him out, and they heard his story, and I was telling him as public affairs and project manager, it was just probably that was very, very, very cool. You guys do know about December 7th, right? You've heard of that date, the Pearl Harbor bombing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. um that was probably most, I don't know, pleasurable as far as professional side. Um, as far as you could go, yeah, I have one picture that I wanted to show. It's just if you could put that picture up, Ken, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, just the things that happen photographically, things that you see, and if you're open to it, you're able to capture, things that what was I thinking? Like atmospheric things always kind of get me. I love the rain. It doesn't rain much here in California, but back in New York, it rains. You get fogs like, San Francisco, New York, we get fog, we get all of those atmospheric. Just being able to go out into that and capture something that happens every so often, not like, okay, we know it's going to be sunrise, there's going to be a sunset. You may not see a sunset, but if you're able to capture something that's in that moment, that is probably one of the most pleasurable things for me. Like this picture, it's kind of a little Georgie O'Keeffe, a little, maybe Nat Geo, I don't know. But I got up and I was growing some calla lilies, and it had rained that morning, and I got up to water them, and it was like, hey, thank you, Lord, you watered them for me. And this one drop of water was holding on to this, and I was like, wow, look at all the colors and all of that. And that's pleasurable for me. The moment, staying in the moment. And I probably need to add that to the rest of my life, just the mindfulness and be at harmony in the universe. That's all I have, gentlemen. Live well.
That sounds like quite a bit, actually.
What?
No, you have
Oh.
you've had this big event, right? That you were touched with someone else's experience of it, and you didn't know you were going to
Sure.
have that kind of surprise. And then you
Oh,
have
yeah.
the wake up in the morning and see something really nice, and take a photograph surprise. So that's good. That's fair,
I think it. I think it. I think it. I think it.
right? So Ken, what has been your most pleasurable photographic
Well,
career?
Kenny hates life.
we will sort of forgive the semantic use of the word pleasurable because it just sounds mediocre when I think about photography. So uh, I would have to say that there is not one pleasurable experience photographically. I think there are many dynamically experiences that have made me enthusiastic about the pursuit of photography. And those are basically all those initial experiences, the moment when the realization that you've accomplished what you've set out to do as being the moment. So, the first moment when I developed a roll of film, the first moment when I made a print, the first moment when I thought about going to college to do photography, the moment when I graduated for college with photography, then the immediate moment after that, which was when I was working selling cameras and I transitioned the degree to the studio. So the moment when I actually applied to work in a photo studio and I got the position. And all those things coalesce into those multiple enthusiastic moments that drove the confidence and basically just drove the knowledge that I knew what I was doing and I was pursuing what I knew I could do. And the accomplishment in making all that happen by myself.
I hear you, but I got to ask. I mean, you have quite a few, but out of all of that, and I know you said they coalesce, out of all that, of those, what kind of makes you go, that was really something I didn't expect? I mean, really, pleasurable may be an understatement. So you say it's mediocre, it's probably understatement about
Yeah.
how you feel.
Yeah.
But what was the surprise? I mean, like a real, well, that was a really nice surprise that, you know.
It's when you go for a job, you don't know you're going to get the job until they tell you got the job.
Right.
So that has to be some of the most surprising, right? Because you're sitting there, you're on pins and needles, and then you hear back, it says, yeah, you start tomorrow,
True.
That is it.
The idea, though, is that when you go for a job, you're hoping to get it. So it's
Right.
not, okay,
Well,
I get you.
right. Well, when you have, I had prior talks and warm-up talks prior to the meetings, and then the meetings happen, and then you still don't know until the day or afternoon they call you and say, yeah, okay, we vetted and we're good, and you start blah blah day. So,
Fair enough.
it's sort of like when you're playing the lottery, you hope that this is the day you hit, and if it doesn't, you're no worse off. But if you do, you're much better off.
Well, you're $20 down. That's a big thing. Sometimes.
Yeah,
depending on how much you put in. So
I hear.
I'm
Well,
just talking about a $2 bet.
there was one for you, Ken. I'm surprised you didn't mention. It was a surprise for me to hear that you were like a good surprise. I mean, I'm not saying I was shocked, but I was surprised. Like, this is really great that you actually got to show in a museum. And that's really part of a collection of a museum. That's pretty hit.
That is, yeah. I'm a humble person in that way, so I tend not to sort of brag about anything like that. So because the way I see it in all in all,
Brag.
because all in all, it doesn't mean anything to anybody except me.
Okay.
It means something to me.
Yeah. Well,
my friend has worked in a major museum.
Yeah, the pride.
In New York.
The pride is there, and the pride is generous, but the pride is
it's personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it a pleasure?
And you're a humble guy. You're a humble guy. You're not one to say, "Hey, man, I got my work here. Where's
Well,
yours?
Well, my question then is, was it a pleasurable surprise to be picked for a museum?
Yes, it was a pleasurable surprise to be picked for a museum.
Okay, that was the only thing that you don't have to say whether it was better than the job. Or
Yeah.
job. You don't have to say. But I was going to say, was it a pleasurable surprise? I think.
Yeah, right.
I was very happy for
Right,
you.
because once you're steeped in something like that, you have a lot of thoughts about what it means and what it could mean. So, and where it could go, and then you think about it for a while. So,
Fair enough.
mm-hmm.
All right. I think if there are no more questions or comments, we will close this episode out. What do you think, guys?
I'm good.
Greg?
Meh, kind of like this about it.
Okay. Well, we have been, and we still continue to be, three
That's
black
right.
grads. See, I beat you to it this time. Three black grad grads. I'm here with Greg Cleghorn and Kenneth Nelson. I'm Mark Skinner. Have a good night.